That's all I need. This is the one with the through on it. You can break off this side and this side and run a wire through here. Have this one hooked up and run a wire out that side and continue on and add 2, 3, 4, 5 of these together. We're not going to use this side with the plastic on it. We're going to use this side. But you can use that side, but I'm not going to. What the hell? Let's use the side with the plastic on it. This is for the other wires coming out this side if you want to hook one up, but I'm not doing that. screws to screw it to the wall. Hold your wire down. There's not one on the other side. I don't know why. Well, to stop bugs from getting up in here, let's put some silicone around it, which I probably will do later. I used to do that to all of my plugs. Put this on, screw this into a wall. I like the way these are made because you don't screw into one piece and then hook the other one to it. Let's put the screw through the front, it comes out the back. But I won't be using these because I'm putting this on tile. Don't use the silver screws. Use the gold looking ones. If this only screws out so far, it won't come all the way out. They make heavy duty types of these. This is the standard, but it's still safer than the flat looking standard. I always forget to separate my wires before I put this in through. This in here. It don't matter which side goes to which side. But wire with writing on it, the one with the writing on it is always the hot side. This is always the negative side. But it don't matter which side you hook, the way you hook this stuff up, it don't matter. The country that I'm living in don't even have a ground hardly, so it don't matter. The way this thing is made, it's hard to work with. So make your exposure wires, sometimes you got to expose your wires a little bit longer. They're good, they're a better type of plug, but because that screw don't come all the way out, it can be frustrating to work with. You can always fold over or cut off the excess wire. Always make sure that this side and this side, the wires are never touching, because if it is, it's going to blow out. Make sure these are separated. So if you do fold wires, because this is long, if you do decide to fold a wire, you better make sure it's not touching this or any part of this side, or make sure this one's not touching this or any part of this side, or you in trouble. Lop them off. Stanley heat gun I had a box connector on it. Wire come loose from the box connector, but not all the way loose, just loose enough. So one wire touched the other one, and there it went, blew out the whole thing. But when I changed the box connector and redid the wires, it worked just fine, so we got lucky with it. Doing this stuff like this can be a bit fiddly. That's why you want those longer wires so you can get a hold of them. You want to make sure it's wound good and tight up close to the screw so it won't come loose. And when you cut this end off, especially, it won't come loose. Sometimes I'll work with one of these things with a thicker wire and get so frustrated with it I have to let my wife connect it because her hands are smaller. Sometimes you work with a thick single strand wire, and those things are really tough and hard to bend. That's what a lot of this stuff is wired in here with, is the single strand wire, the thicker single strand wire, like this. It's thick, it's really rigid and coarse, hard to bend. And I got this one in a standard outlet. It should be in a heavy duty outlet, but this is actually overkill because this hooks up those lights. So instead of going out and buying wire like this, like the one I have now hanging on the wall, I went ahead and bought a whole spool of it. I went ahead and used these, and then I decided there's no more cutting these wires up and using those big giant thick wires like that on something like a light, because it's wasting these wires. And I buy these by the box. I get like 250, 300 foot of this wire at one time, then cutting it up in these little pieces like that just for a light. And then when I use it for something else, or change it out, or have to use it on something else, then I have to splice it together, and I don't like doing that. So that's why I bought this big spool right here, and I'm going to get 3 or 4 more spools like this of different sizes. This is here, it's number 22. So now that this is together and that's together, let's take this thing, slip it back on. This here is all I need because it's going in the kitchen. That's all I need. Don't need no more. And now to put this stuff up and go put it in. put these screws in the screw box later. Put this back up here. I got so many of those ice cream boxes you wouldn't believe over the years. But now that my wife makes ice cream, we got to be careful about using them, because I'll use them all up. Gosh, somebody wouldn't believe. I've given so many of them away to my mother-in-law and everything. Still got a bunch. There's two in here. Black one and another gold-looking one. This here's what I was telling you about, the box connector. No, that's not it. So I just dump my stuff out. I'm gonna have to pick that back up later if I can find them. I'll dump them out. I always end up dumping those out. And they're not even in there. They're right here. This here is what I was talking about that was blowed out on the. You can cut these off. It's this here. You can cut these off, and if you need more than one, they're made. You can cut them. So you can cut one off, two off, three, and you can cut it so you can leave two connected, three connected, or just take one, whatever you want to do. It's a big bunch of shrink wrap that I ordered. It's a lot cheaper and better than that stuff that I was buying locally. So let's get this in there and get it put on. Okay, after I get this hooked up, I'm going to put the dowels in that other thing, make that small door. And I also buy these here so I don't have to hook or unhook nothing like that. Just you hook it into an outlet, and then it's an on-off switch. It's easy to use. That way you just turn off my lights. I'll leave that middle one on. That's the fan. I will turn that fan off. And I've got another one over here. That spider's guarding it. I get another one over here. The dust keeps getting on the top. Turns off that big light. And then that one's a normal hookup. I've got one of those in the washing room also.